Hey guys, my name is Zach B, and welcome to DC In Depth, in which I'll be discussing DC comic book character histories, story arcs, and pretty much whatever I feel like. Today I give you 5 very strange incarnations of the Dark Knight himself, Batman. Weirdly enough, all these different types of Batman can be found all in one comic book issue, Batman Annual number 5 from 1963. We see the dynamic duo in a Gotham City laboratory with Dr. Gregson and various lawmen for a scientific demonstration. When asked why Batman and Robin are here witnessing the experiment, the doctor just says, "Because my new invention has such terrifying possibilities, I want the law to know about it." The good doctor has created a maximizer that can enlarge any object. But what good is a maximizer without a minimizer? So he has created that too. As he demonstrates his creation, who else but a 2-bit street punk arrives on the scene to try to make a quick buck and steal the thing for himself. But when Batman jumps in to take the 2-bit crook out, the device accidentally goes off and Batman is hit with a maximizer ray. In the commotion, the robber makes off with the minimizer while Batman begins to grow to giant size. Outside the laboratory, a disoriented 15-foot Batman is stumbling around the streets, crashing into newsstands, and is unable to find a thief with the device, and at the same time still growing. He is so big now that he has to crawl just to get through the entrance to the subway. Standing over 30 feet tall, I think it's safe to say Robin is scared to death of becoming roadkill, while Batman is just hoping not to get electrocuted from the telephone wires. Picking Robin up, they agree they need to get back to the Batcave to figure this thing out. Batman tells Robin to take the Batmobile and that he'll meet him there. Being careful not to hit or stomp on anyone, Batman still manages to scare the crap out of some old lady. Back at the cave, Batman is too big to walk through the entrance, but is assured that he can fit if he crawls. So he slides down the giant tunnel of gravel to the Batcave like a giant water slide with no water. Once inside, Batman is having a rough go of it, actually kicking the Batmobile off of a cliff. He is greeted by Alfred, who is obviously used to this sort of thing, is as loyal as ever, and brings Master Wayne his sandwich. Ham and cheese mint, anyone? Realizing things can't go on like this, he sees the bat signal, and giant Batman or not, Gotham City needs his help. Batman goes out to try to fight some crime, but just scares the crap out of everyone he's trying to help, and makes a royal mess out of everything. Nonetheless, he's on hot pursuit of a group of criminals when they try to get away from him by escaping on a yacht. But Batman hops right in the bay, like it's a kiddie pool, and delivers the crooks to the cops. Back at the cave, Batman and Robin develop a plan to stop the crook who did this to him and bring back the minimizer. Batman finally catches up with the 2-bit street punk, and he's in a plane, firing shots at him like he's freaking King Kong. The crook is out of the plane, but since he is too tiny to grab, Batman decides the best course of action is to make the crook giant-sized so he can't get away. At even height, they slug it out until Batman has a chance to jump on top of the crook, giving Robin the chance to use the minimizer on both of them, shrinking them back to normal size. They turn him into the authorities, and we find out that both devices are useless now since they have exhausted their irreplaceable power elements. So like a nice guy that he is, the good doctor lets Batman keep the devices and adds them to his trophy collection at the Batcave. And everything works out. No harm, no foul, except for maybe $500,000 or more of property damage. In this story, Bruce and Dick start their night early because they must find the hideout of Len Landers and his mob of thieves. Changing into their costumes, the dynamic duo drive the Batmobile into Gotham when suddenly they see a raging fire coming from the Gotham Electronics Company. Just as Batman is finished saving a victim from the fire, a wire is shorted, causing the big tubes to bust with radiation. Batman, of course, is hit with the radiation, turning all of his cells to hold a negative charge rather than a positive one. This makes him unable to touch any kind of matter, and also makes him able to walk through solid objects. Back at the cave, Alfred is shocked as he witnesses Master Bruce's condition, being able to put his entire right arm through Batman's torso. Luckily for millionaire Bruce Wayne, Batman has a very powerful machine that emits a very high positive electrical charge. But unfortunately, using the machine on himself does very little to cure Batman of his condition. Determined not to let this set them back, the dynamic duo sets off to catch a Landers mob, and Batman plans to use his condition in their favor. Batman walks through walls, mountains, and even a train until he comes upon the Dawson mansion. The house seems to be empty, and Batman and Robin continue to the air raid shelter underneath the surface. There they find the stolen money in a cave. Feeling that they can set a trap to catch a Landers mob, Batman and Robin walk over to the money when they realize that they were the ones who fell into a trap. Luckily for Batman, he walks right out of the cage and goes after the crooks. When confronted, the man throws a punch and it goes right through Batman. But Robin is still trapped, so when the man turns his back, Batman walks into Robin and somehow occupies the exact same space where Robin is standing, causing the man to only see Batman and not Robin. Fearing Robin escaped another way, and knowing Batman can walk right through the cage anyway, the bad guy opens the cage and runs inside to try to find Robin. But an instant later, the man realizes that Robin hid inside Batman and, in fact, never left. I'm trying really hard right now not to crack an ambiguously gay duo joke. Nonetheless, with the man inside the cell, Robin closes the gate, trapping the criminal behind bars, and is left to deal with the authorities. Outside, Batman and Robin drive away from the scene in the Batmobile into a thunderstorm, which gives Batman an idea. Later, behind Wayne Mansion, Alfred goes all Ben Franklin on us and flies a kite during the thunderstorm. Luckily for Batman, Alfred keeps a roll of metal string lying around the house, and he connects the string to the kite, down a ventilation shaft, and into the electrical device from before. As lightning strikes the kite, a tremendous electrical force travels through the string into the machine and blasts Batman with another high-velocity charge. Later, Batman catches up with Lenny and the Landers mob. Feeling unthreatened of Batman because of his inability to touch solid objects, they let Batman march right up to them and deliver an uppercut to the boss, knocking him out cold. And after delivering the crooks to jail, Batman explains that the machine did in fact cure him, and not a moment too soon, because Batman was in fact getting hungry. Har har har. Batman and Robin are out patrolling Gotham when they are called to the Botanical Gardens. There, Batman trips over a vine and stumbles into an area with exotic plants that carries a strange odor, making him lightheaded. As he stumbles away from the greenhouse, Batman falls to the ground and passes out. After some time has passed, Batman awakes feeling groggy and sore. Hoping splashing some water on his face will get him out of this funk, he comes to the stunning realization that he has aged decades. Seeing a long white beard on his face from his reflection, Batman theorizes that strange odor from the plants must have put him to sleep for years like Rip Van Winkle. Batman wanders into town, but it is a town that he does not recognize. This city has new skyscrapers, new landmarks, and flying vehicles. Batman is then teased by two kids for being old and for wearing a Batman costume. Like his day wasn't going bad enough already. Batman even pleads with the kids, saying, he's a right to wear this costume because he is Batman. Hey, we all know older people like to bicker for no reason, right? But the kids point out that if he really is Batman, then who does he think that is going after those crooks on that roof? Why, that's Batman and Robin, he says. He assumes that it must be Dick, all grown up, carrying on the mantle, and even though he has become an old, decrepit version of himself in literally no time at all, he finds himself feeling wonderful anyway. What a guy. cheering Batman and Robin on from the street as they put the handcuffs on the bad guys. Batman decides he must go over and tell him that he is still alive. When old Batman tells the younger Batman that he is still alive, younger Batman brushes him off, saying, "Sure, old-timer, sure you are." As they drive off, he decides that if he visits them by entering the secret entrance to the Batcave, that he must be who he says he is. Batman walks all the way to Wayne Manor, but is shocked to see the place is deserted. To Bruce's dismay, when he enters the secret entrance, he finds the Batcave in ruin. Rip Van Batman finally tracks down the dynamic duo at the planetarium, but he finds them chained up and captured. Feeling he has found his chance to prove who he really is, Batman jumps up to the hanging structure, but falls short and falls right on his face. Unable to believe what they are seeing, one of the gunmen throws Batman in with the dynamic duo and locks them in together, while they go get the gems out of the safe. Why there are gems in a safe at a planetarium is beyond me. Young Batman thanks older Batman for trying to help, but is interrupted when older Batman pulls a MacGyver with his utility belt and frees all of them from their locked chains. Realizing that's something only the real Batman could have done, Dick thanks Bruce and is happy that he is still alive. He promises to tell Dick everything later, and the three put a plan in motion to take down the gunman. The three spring into action, and after a brief scuffle, two Batman and a Robin are victorious and win the day. After the police have taken away the bandits, Dick says that Rip Van Batman is still the greatest Batman that he has ever seen. Moments later, Bruce suddenly gets dizzy and faints. Batman is awoken to a young boy wonder right outside the greenhouse where he fainted. Batman explains that it must have been that exotic plant, which is a rare type from the Amazon, and anyone who inhales this odor from the plant will get hallucinations. And that's what happened to him, even though I'm not quite sure you can hallucinate while you're sleeping, but I'll take his word for it. Our adventure begins when Batman and Robin spot men wearing masks entering the art museum. One of them is wearing some sort of costume with weird glowing stripes. The costumed man touches a button on his belt, shattering the steel door, making it possible for the men to gain entry. Batman and Robin race in to stop the heist from happening when you guessed it. Freaking Robin trips, again, knocking his elbow into the machine, causing Batman once again to be soaked with a strange light. From the radiation, Batman is now Zebra Batman, and is causing people to get thrown backwards anytime they try to come near him. Batman warns Robin to stay back, or he'll get thrown backwards like everyone else. It's so bad, even the food he tries to eat gets flung back as well. After causing some more havoc to Gotham City, Batman gains control of his powers and is able to remove his belt. Normal again, he explains that he was drawn to a junkyard's electromagnet. Realizing that the electromagnet's force field was opposite to his own, he electrically charged a manhole cover so that it would reverse Zebra Man's force field, which was opposite to his own. Later, while Zebra Man is sitting in jail, Batman says it's only fitting that Zebra Man should end up in a place where stripes fall across his face. And Robin says he's still got stripes, only this time they're from prison bars. Talking about kicking a man when he's down, getting bad puns thrown at you from the boy Blunder, I tell you, life's not easy for a Zebra Man. This by far is one of the strangest and silliest versions of Batman I have ever seen, which is why it takes number 1 on my list. In our final adventure, Batman and Robin are at the docks in pursuit of Vince Kenton, trying to solve the mystery of why criminals have been disappearing from Gotham City. When spotted, Batman throws a batarang, but Kenton dodges it and makes a run for it. Batman climbs atop the warehouse to try to spot the criminals when suddenly Yet again, he is struck by lightning while holding on to a pole. Batman falls into the river and Robin dives in after him. Robin doesn't spot him right away, but when he does, Batman uses Morse code through his utility belt somehow to tell Robin to send for a tow truck and to have an aquarium attached at the end of it. Moments later, we see Batman brought out of the river while inside the aquarium. After having a voice amplifier dropped into the tank, we learn that due to his fantastic accident, Batman has been transformed into a human fish. Batman is now unable to breathe without being submerged in water. The dynamic duo instruct the tow truck driver to deliver Batman to the Batcave in the fish tank so they can figure this thing out. But not wanting to waste any time on his problem while criminals are still afoot, Batman decides they must complete their task before attacking his own problem. With no time to spare, they whip up a contraption and hit the road. They find where the criminals are hiding out at, and with no time to spare, Batman swings into action with a helmet filled with seawater so he'll be able to breathe to attack the criminals. Seeing the helmet on Batman's head, Kenton instructs the gunman to aim for his helmet. After some scuffling, Kenton smashes Batman over the head with a model yacht, breaking his helmet, making Batman unable to breathe. While gasping on the floor, Robin uses some quick thinking and strikes a match while atop a chair under the sprinkler system so it would flood the room, submerging Batman's head underwater so he'll be able to breathe again, while Robin runs out the room to grab Batman's spare helmet. Okay, if you say so. Back in action, Batman goes after the gang once again, and yet again, Batman manages to break his helmet. While Batman gasps for air, the bad guys make a run for it. Feeling that the gang has finally put Batman out of commission, they are surprised to see Batman jump and tackle them to the ground. Having defeated and captured the enemies, Batman explains that while he was wearing the helmet, he felt himself returning to normal, so he took advantage of the situation by pretending to suffocate in order to take the criminals down by surprise. Can you believe it? And there it is, guys. 5 very strange and silly incarnations of Batman. Also, I'd like to name some honorable mentions. How about Bewitched Batman, a Batman under a magical spell who is forced to dress up like a clown and has no choice but to obey every command from an evil sorcerer. How about a grown-up Dick Grayson as Owlman? And Batman looks hard as nails eating flames from a dragon and punching him in the face afterwards, as Doomed Batman. If you like this video, please drop a like and subscribe to get more in-depth videos about DC Comics. And please leave a comment to say what kind of videos you would like to see in the future. I'm Zach B, and this has been DC In Depth. So, he has created that too. As he demonstrates his creation, who else but a 2-bit street punk arrives on the scene to try to make a quick buck and steal the thing for himself. But when Batman jumps in to take the 2-bit crook out, the device accidentally goes off and Batman is hit with a maximizer ray. In the commotion, the robber makes off with the minimizer while Batman begins to grow to giant size. Outside the laboratory, a disoriented 15-foot Batman is stumbling around the streets, crashing into newsstands, and is unable to find a thief with the device, and at the same time still growing. He is so big now that he has to crawl slide with no water. Once inside, Batman is having a rough go of it, actually kicking the Batmobile off of a cliff. He is greeted by Alfred, who is obviously used to this sort of thing, is as loyal as ever, and brings Master Wayne his sandwich. Ham and cheese mint, anyone? Realizing things can't go on like this, he sees the bat signal, and giant Batman or not, Gotham City needs his help. Batman goes out to try to fight some crime, but just scares the crap out of everyone he's trying to help, and makes a royal mess out of everything. Nonetheless, he's on hot pursuit of a group of criminals when they try. All these different types of Batman can be found all in one comic book issue. Batman Annual number 5 from 1963. You see the dynamic duo in a Gotham City laboratory with Dr. Gregson and various lawmen for a scientific demonstration. When asked why Batman and Robin are here witnessing the experiment, the doctor just says, "Because my new invention has such terrifying possibilities, I want the law to know about it." The good doctor has created a maximizer that can enlarge any object. But what good is a maximizer without a minimizer? Just to get through the entrance to the subway. Standing over 30 feet tall, I think it's safe to say Robin is scared to death of becoming roadkill, while Batman is just hoping not to get electrocuted from the telephone wires. Picking Robin up, they agree they need to get back to the Batcave to figure this thing out. Batman tells Robin to take the Batmobile and that he'll meet him there. Being careful not to hit or stomp on anyone, Batman still manages to scare the crap out of some old lady. Back at the cave, Batman is too big to walk through the entrance, but is assured that he can fit if he crawls. So he slides down the giant tunnel of gravel to the Batcave like a giant water. Hey guys, my name is Zach B, and welcome to DC In Depth, in which I'll be discussing DC comic book character histories, story arcs, and pretty much whatever I feel like. Today I give you 5 very strange incarnations of the Dark Knight himself, Batman. Weirdly enough,